Hello, welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole podcast with me, your host, Matty T. And as always, I'm joined by Azzy Young and Alan McKenzie. How are we, gents?
Doing good.
Not bad, not bad.
Good to hear. So today we've got a slightly different recording setup. Usually we'd all meet up and record that way, but we're recording over Skype this time just to make it easier for those two and make episodes come out more frequently, hopefully. So that's the plan. And we're thinking the audio shouldn't be too much different. If anything, maybe slightly better, but we've tested it and it should be fine. So let us know what you think of the new audio setup. But today we're going to be discussing psychedelics, which is a bit different from our usual subjects, but I think it's an interesting one nonetheless. And two of us on this have actually experimented with them, one hasn't. So it'll be interesting to get different points of view. So obviously, Aaron, you've never had any experiences with them, but what's your kind of, I don't know, your conceptions of them from what people you've talked about?
Well, it seems really interesting of the fact that everyone I've spoken to at least says it changes their perspective on the real world compared to before they took it. So I'm always curious about like what specifically like alters, and if that like alternation is sort of like a long-term effect or if it's just in the moment. And I've been doing a bit of research on that and getting like different people's perspective and all that, because like scientists are still trying to figure out like what actually like kind of goes on neurologically, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, because I think obviously the brain's made up like different chemicals and that, and these are what control like your mood and things like that, your personality. And I think psychedelics tend to change them in a wee bit, and obviously that changes your perspective on the world.
Yeah, seems like.
I think it depends how much you do it as well, like if it's long term or not.
Yeah, it also depends on the frequency of how much you take.
Yeah, because I mean we've had obviously like cases like the guy from Pink Floyd, Sid Barrett. He basically just lived on LSD, and that totally bonked his mind.
Yeah, a lot of writers take some hallucinogenics as well.
Yeah, I mean, is it like obviously also a good way as well to kind of to like open up creative like avenues, like maybe if you're like, having writer's block or whatever, you can just take a tab of acid and you've got a whole world of ideas.
Oh man, why didn't I take that advice earlier on?
I don't think it would help you actually whilst you're writing, but I think you could extrapolate on some of your visions that you had whilst 3 sheets to the wind.
Yeah.
Writing sober.
Look at Stephen King. I mean, he didn't take hallucinogenics, but he took cocaine, and I mean, if you read his stuff, it's definitely not a sober mind.
No. Definitely not. Especially with like the end of it. Or the first book anyway.
Even the next book I'm going to read called The Tommyknockers, he always talks about how that book should be cut down by like 300 pages because most of it was just on a coke trip.
Yeah. No, but Stephen King, he was a genius. I think one time he was taking so much coke, he just had to. His nose kept bleeding, so he just had to keep like tissues up his nose while he was writing.
Yeah.
But I think I just want to get this out of the way, right? I think the biggest misconception about LSD or hallucinogenics in general is that you start seeing random things like, you know, a dinosaur in your living room or like fairies everywhere. What actually happens is your perception and perspective. So you don't necessarily see large things that aren't there. You see what's always been there, but in like different ways. So you see patterns in things, and your mind emphasizes what it used to ignore. So basically, it's like reality, but things just look slightly different. It's not like you'll just randomly like people or whatever.
It's augmented reality over virtual reality. It alters the world that you see. It doesn't actually create a new one for you.
So there's a lot more subtle.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot more subtle, but like it's still you're still like, well, what the hell's going on? But it's not like I think it's not like you're going to trip it badly. Like obviously you can get bad trips and that, but if you're just kind of taking it in and relaxing and just looking at the world and a slightly different view. It's a great experience. But it can, like, I think the best way to do it as well, I think, is just, or any hallucinogenics as well, just have some weed with it as well, because people say, oh no, that's too much drugs, but no, the weed actually kind of calms you down a wee bit and makes you
Yeah, but that's
better.
coming from your perspective, where you've got somewhat of a tolerance to it. It doesn't make you freak out. I wouldn't recommend
Yeah.
that for anyone that isn't experienced with both substances.
What
I mean,
sub-
I'd recommend.
Sorry?
I'd recommend if you're doing like a tab of acid or whatever for the first time, I'd recommend a wee joint to go with it to like mellow you down.
What is it you specifically tried then, in terms of like psychedelics? The
But,
you and Ali?
Oh, me? Oh, it's just LSD.
Right.
yeah,
That
I
one.
mean, that's what I've done as well. But I think there's obviously different types of hallucinogenics. They've got obviously like mushrooms, DMT, and LSD. Now I think DMT, I think that's going to take up the bulk of this episode because that's the one that's the craziest.
DMT.
Yeah, because basically we're talking about.
Cook it and it turns into these kind of crystals.
Yeah, so basically DMT is like just in the brain, and I think I don't know where they get it from, like so you can smoke it, but it's basically crystallized and you smoke it. And apparently what happens is the rule is you take three puffs, and on the third puff, that's when you, in quotes, blast off.
Right.
And that's that. Now I did say at the start of this episode, or basically all it is just like alters reality slightly, but DMT is a different animal, right? That apparently you start seeing beings in that and they start talking to you. And like that's not just that's not like just a one person occurrence. This is like almost like a basin of what is meant to happen to you. And there's so many reports of that happening, of people talking to these interdimensional beings or gods or whatever, and they're just like their form's not the same. It's just constantly changing. Like I remember I was on Joe Rogan. He was saying he was seen a Joker, and one minute it was giving him the fingers, and it was happy, and it was doing this, and it was just constantly changing form.
Do the people like who keep saying they talk to like beings in that? Is it like a similar? Is it like a similar pattern, or is it talk to?
It's a similar pattern where they basically said, "Oh, we're so glad you came," and like I think 90% of the people who do DMT and like talk to these entities or beings or whatever, the most common phrase that's always reported is, "Oh, we're so glad you came. We're so glad you came." And it's almost like they're showing you around in that before you come back to reality. It's mental, but it could be a case that one person's reported it and then other people reported it and they're just thinking that's what's going to happen, so they make that happen.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, like almost if like you hear about it and their brain kind of like forces them to believe that because
it's
that's
almost like it's planted subconsciously.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm thinking. But then you could have people who have never never heard of these experiences, and that still happens to them. Then that becomes a bit more like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm curious to see if it is the exact same like figure that they see, and if they've been like influenced externally from like other people's input.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might be. I think that might happen to some of the people. I mean, some of the time, I don't think it like is every single person, because like I think there's something to that. Even because, for example, see if there was the very first person and they reported it and that kind of spread, that very first person, they still had that experience. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, kind of.
But it's weird, like I don't know. I think like, and there's also people like on DMT as well who've like seen like they're always at a simulation. Like there's people saying, oh, they've seen like "Welcome to the next level" in big letters in front of them, or they've seen a reset button and they've hit it and the whole world's collapsed around them. And that, I mean, that's like I don't know if they're talking rubbish or that's actually happened, but that's really extreme cases. But I just I think it's just mind-boggling, literally.
Yeah.
Like we can have
how it affects different people in like different age groups or location, like geographical location. Like as a man, like in Japan, going to have the same experience as someone in Britain. You know,
You-
totally different
yeah.
culture, upbringing. Like, does that have an influence? Does like race have an influence? Does like age as well, gender? I wonder if there is a pattern between demographics, or if there's like a, as I say, totally different like vision of what they see when they take stuff like this.
I think it's down to you personally. I think culture has got something to do with it, but I think whatever your personality is like and whatever you're thinking in your head, that's what's going to affect your trip. Because Michael from Vsauce.
Yeah,
Yeah. He went to the Amazon and took some ayahuasca, which is DMT, but it's slightly different from DMT that you would have over here, because DMT you have over here, you smoke and it only lasts like 10 minutes or so. The ayahuasca, that lasts for like several hours.
Exactly, and like he was saying going into it, he was worried about whatever he was worried about stuff, and he was saying, oh, he doesn't know if he's always uptight in that, and he's always thinking that he's worried that would make him bad buzz, but then he took it and he just kind of he thought out his problems in his head, and it's weird, like the term used for it and that is like ego destroyer, I think it's called, where you
Ego
just become
death.
ego death. Yeah, we just become so like you basically, as the word says, your ego dies and you just become very self-reflective in that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
heard that phrase a lot on the subreddit of DMT. When I was doing a wee bit of like research into it. It's like you just lose your kind of, like you say, your ego and your identity in a sense.
Yeah, you do, because you just notice everything in the world and that, and it's not about yourself, it's about everything else in that. And it's a very, very weird experience to have, because like obviously your ego, you're always thinking about yourself and you're always aware of yourself and that, but when you take that away, you're not really, you're just kind of, the world is one, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you guys have any stories of like people who've had very negative like reactions to DMT or any other kind of hallucinogenics, like really, really bad?
Yeah, well, I had a story. It was someone told me once that they were on it, and they were walking down the street or something, I think, and they were looking up at like the headlights, the lamps in the street lights, and they thought it was like big spiders and that trying to chase them, and they thought the stars were like eyes and that watching them.
See, that sounds a bit much, especially when
Yeah,
you're at night.
yeah, but if you're walking along at night and that, going and you're on acid, I don't know why you do that. Like, I think you need to do it like I say safe, like it's an environment with in a house with your pals or whatever. Just get some nice relaxing music on and just relax into it rather than walking down the street at night time, and that's just going to be a likely chance of a bad experience.
Yeah, I wonder like what situation led up to him doing that kind of stuff at that kind of time.
I think it was at a party or something, and then we were walking home or something like that.
Just wandered off.
I know, but now what I want to do is like, Ali, why don't you tell your experiences and then I'll kind of discuss mine and see what Azo thinks of it.
Well, I've not had many experiences actually. I've probably had as many as you. So, I don't know. There was nothing really too profound to mine. Mine was a bit of an oddball experience. I just enjoyed the sensation of it. It's almost like a euphoric feeling you get from it. Do you get what I'm going for there?
Yeah.
It's not just how it affects your vision; it's how it affects your mind as well. Not to sound too hippie, but it does have an effect on you mentally. I do believe it totally excuse me, restructures the makeup of your brain each time you dabble with it. But I definitely, if weeks, if not months afterwards, I'd had a different mindset and a different look or outlook to how the world was. as a result of my trip, I felt so insignificant. I felt like a small, tiny piece in a massive, expansive universe.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean. Like, I didn't really have that for weeks after. I don't think I just kind of had it and like, had fun and was kind of back to myself. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I didn't.
Well, I'd say probably the reason it had more of an effect on me was because I was in quite a fragile state of mind when I decided to experiment with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was like, my mind was alright at the time, and I just done it just to see what it was like, and I didn't really. I don't think I kind of had that performance. I was like, "Oh, it was back to normal." If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, one day maybe our home to have that profound experience, which happens to a lot of people, but it didn't really happen to me. I was just kind of like tripped out for a few hours, and then I was like, "Oh, that was cool."
But
But I mean,
just like any other drug, basically.
basically, I was like, "Oh, this is cool." Just like it was basically, it was like I was drunk for a few hours and sobered up.
Excuse me.
That's interesting in a sense. What we were talking about earlier about how I was saying it'll affect different people, and you talked about different personalities.
Yeah,
A totally different like post outlook. Ali felt like really, really small in the grander scheme of things, and Matt, you just kind of carried on as if nothing happened.
exactly. I've been thinking about that. Like everyone, like basically everyone I've talked to who's done that, has felt that kind of profound effect afterwards, and I'm just like, did I not do it right, or what's happened here? You know, I mean, at times when I was doing it, I was like, I remember looking up at the moon and that, and thinking, wow, I was connected to the moon and that, but afterwards I was just like, oh, it's just the moon, you know.
I think it was maybe just some of the realizations I made in those moments stuck with me. Maybe they
Yeah,
just seemed more profound, whereas really I wish I had examples, but I can't really remember the whole situation that well. It's sort of a hazy part of my life, but it's just the way it affected you, and it was heightened by the drugs as well. You know, it it might have more of an effect on me for that reason.
yeah. I mean, the biggest thing I took away from it was just when I was actually tripping, it was just my perspective and the things I saw in that, at the top of on top of the curtains, like it seemed what looked like Tutankhamun was like his face.
Yeah.
And things like my hand, it just felt like they were like it was like I wasn't moving it, but I felt like I was waving it about. And like when I done like moved my hand, waved the hand in front of my face, it felt like I could see it like 5 times.
Mm.
If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Like almost like an onion effect.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember when we actually phoned one of our pals, and I felt like I was talking to him on the phone. Obviously, but I felt like he was in the room with us. If that makes sense.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah, felt like he was always like I had him on loudspeaker. And he was on. I had it on the chair next to me. But it felt like he was sitting there, but obviously he wasn't. Which is pretty cool because I mean I think like LSD and hallucinogens are like psychedelics are kind of connecting drug in the sense. I don't want to use the word drug. I don't want to call it a drug, but it is a drug. It's just
Well, I mean, there's lots of things that are drugs.
yeah,
You can go under that category.
yeah. I mean, people say weed's a drug. That's a plant, but I felt like I was
Well,
connected
so's
to
coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's pure form. Caffeine's like a plant.
yeah. Is caffeine a plant?
It starts off as a plant, and it's pure form. It's really, really, really like psychedelic. There's been stories of like bugs that eat the plant.
All right.
They totally trip out. I don't know what the insect is, but when they eat it, they totally just go off. That's probably their version of DMT.
That reminds me of there's Inuits that there's reindeer up in the no, it's not the Arctic, near the North Pole. I can't remember where. They eat a certain type of mushroom that has hallucinogenic properties, and the Inuits collect the reindeer piss and drink it and get high as fuck off the piss.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was expecting a story like they were Santa or something like that, but no, they just drink piss instead.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much else to do up there, so what else?
Drink piss, get high, basically.
I mean, Bear Grylls approves that message.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to see on like hallucinogenics.
One thing I'd like to do is do it like me and Ella talking about going camping when the weather gets warm, just to do it somewhere in that kind of environment. Although I don't know if the next one I'd be wanting to pack up and then go home. I think the idea is more good, but the actual execution might
I've
not be.
always wanted to go camping and try it. I've wanted a sort of less contained environment because I feel like every time we did it, we just stayed inside the house, inside a wee room, and that was it. We did nothing but, just vegetate basically. I want
Yeah,
to go out and have an adventure and experience whilst I'm in that state of mind.
I must say, if you're
definitely.
going to do it in a kind of safe environment where there's like no lakes or cliffs or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, but when we're on it, we're sensible enough anyway. It's not like it just makes you have to body it.
Yeah, you don't completely lose your mind on it. It's not like you're in a completely different world. It does like change your
Just change your perspective on that.
perspective, but
But it's not.
not to
It
the
doesn't.
extent that you're gonna go and drown yourself.
It's not like, oh, I'm going to go in that pool. That's not a good idea. You still got that function in your mind. You think, no, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, well, even in that regard, because your perspective's still changing, you might underestimate the environment around you a bit, and you could like overstep yourself. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, I actually get exactly what you're meaning, and I have an example where I did such. We were out on Matt's balcony, having a smoke, and I wanted to sit up on the balcony, and him and his cousin absolutely shat themselves when I tried to do so because they thought I was gonna die.
Wow.
Oh, I was like, no, don't sit up there. Like, just sit, just stand. Sorry, but the thing is, we're on the balcony, and like the road, obviously was down on the road, but Chris was saying it felt like it was on the same level as us. Which I can kind of, when he said that, I could get where he was coming from, but at the same time, I'm thinking, no, the road's still down there. You'll still hurt yourself trying to get to it.
I think it's you. The other thing is you're heavily suggestible whilst you're in that frame of mind. So if someone says this X is like Y, you'll go, hang on a minute, is X like Y? I think it is, even when X is nothing like Y.
So you kind of get a bit introspective in that sense.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely.
guys, actually, since now that you've taken it, has it changed your relationships with other people? Like, are you
No.
more open-minded, or are you more questionable about other people? Like, what has anything changed in that regard? Like, how you look at other people and their perspective on things?
I'd say somewhat I did die an ego death at that moment, but it was more I lost a lot of confidence in that time, but I think that was due to the fact that I did it in a stage where I was in a fragile state of mind. I was deep in the depths of depression, so that sort of had an effect on the psychedelic experience,
Right.
and that was the overarching thing. So I became a lot more introverted after it. I think it all depends on what sort of mindset you've got when you experiment with it.
Right. What about you, Matt? Did you have a different like kind of take on that?
No, like I said, I've not had any term. Like at the time, I felt like connected, but afterwards, like I've had nothing change me in the long term now.
All right.
But like you said, that is interesting because we've done it at the same time, same dosage, but we've had two different
Yeah.
effects long term.
Yeah.
Long term, short term. Yeah, it's quite a fascinating. This just sounds like you guys are on a lab experiment.
Isn't I mean, technically, and it was at the time because we were just experimenting to see what it done to ourselves. But going back to the camping thing, I like to do it. Look up at the stars and that, and just experience it. But the thing is, afterwards, the next morning, or whatever, you've got no energy whatsoever, and you just kind of lie about and relax. So I'm saying, if we're going camping, like you can't really do that. 'Cause you need to pack up your stuff and then make the trek home and that.
I just smug out for the day.
Yeah, or just stay. I can just stay 2 days.
Yeah, probably will need a couple of days to plan it.
Yeah. But not as if you're ever going to do it, I would recommend doing it in the house first and then maybe do the camping one.
Yeah, no, definitely have it in a closed environment first, where like you're totally in control. It'll definitely, because I think paranoia is really, it's always lingering there, and I think it only takes a small push for it to start running away.
Yeah, but like I said, like I said earlier, if you're in a nice environment with your friends, who you're relaxed about, just play some nice tunes, have a few drinks or whatever, just let it happen. You'll have a good time.
Yeah. Don't know if I would do it like recently, as of like I want to do it in the short term, but like I definitely want to try it at least once. Maybe
Yeah,
something when I feel a bit more confident about it, when I've done like proper research, and
yeah,
maybe in a few couple of years it will end up becoming decriminalised. So even the law aspect of like, oh, what if I get caught or something like that?
yeah,
That paranoia like burden on your shoulders either.
I don't
yeah.
think
I
it
mean,
ever will, to be honest. Not until
maybe in,
we're like in our 50s, maybe.
maybe in some countries, but I think Britain's definitely on the right track in terms of weed because CPD oil and that's legal, and I think that was just opening the road down to full legalization of weed. Sorry, but in terms of acid and like hallucinogenics, yeah, I think Britain, especially under like a conservative government or whatever, it's a long way away from that.
Okay.
I don't even think weed's round the corner, Matthew. Like it's only just been made medicinal, and that's in very extreme cases of autism and I think not schizophrenia. Like seizures. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. I mean, if you go like shopping centres and that, like you can buy CPD oil anywhere really.
Oh yeah, no, but CBD is it's it has it's not psychoactive.
Yeah, but when I say around the corner, I mean like I'm talking about the next 10 years or so.
No, not with the Conservatives in power.
No, but I doubt they'll be in power for another 10 years. So, but
Yeah, but
yeah,
it's not going to be like a flagship policy for a political group that gets in either. Like it's gonna take time to sort of ease it in. I think it's going to be, another 20 years before we see that.
I hope not. But I mean, Lib Dems, if they ever get voted in power, they want to legalise it. So,
Have you been
um,
having some of what Joe Swinson's having, thinking that the Lib Dems are ever going to get into power?
I mean,
Sounds psychedelics
soon.
right now, winning
Ah,
government. All 300 odd seats.
Yeah. But going back to the point, Azo, like in your research, do you find any like interesting stories or anything?
I was wanting to bring this one up because I stumbled on a guy who is blind. Not only
Right.
blind later on, but he's been born blind, so he has no visual input like all the world around him. And they
Uh,
asked him, "How does someone like that take hallucinogens, and what do they experience?"
that's it. Yeah.
Because
is it
someone,
not just auditory?
yeah, it's all audio, so they have hallucinogenic sounds, which just
Yeah.
you have hallucinogenic sounds and you don't have any vision. See, for us, because we can see that sounds terrifying to me.
See, it does, but then that he's just used to sounds anyway, so it might not be as
Yeah.
terrifying. And I think I might have read the same story. I think he was.
I'm pretty sure the guy said that he like some people who passed away in his life came back to him and started speaking to him, which is
That's really.
like it just unlocks like memories in you as well, which we can talk about as well. What kind of like hallucinogenics does? But yeah, all the like when they talk to people who are blind, they experience like sound, like altercations.
Yeah, I mean that'd be really interesting because I don't know if it's the same story, but I was reading a story where he was saying he was listening to the blind guy took acid, and he was listening to music, and he said the music just felt so rich, and it was like surrounded him, and he felt every single note and all that.
Hmm.
Good night. Jesus
But,
Christ. I've been trying to put him to bed for like the past hour.
is that your brother?
No, it's my dad. He's pissed.
All right. Well, there you go, dear viewers. Ali's or dear listeners, sorry, Ali's dad is pissed. Well, it's Friday night or Saturday night. Sorry, so fair
Ah,
enough.
He's having a bad.
He's having a bad day. But what was I going to say? Being listening,
One guy.
so I was like,
that
I
was
just
my
can imagine.
brother.
Oh, that was your brother,
Yeah.
right? Well, good.
At least we know they're all the way to bed now.
Yeah, no interruptions. Any more about? I was going to say, yeah, it's interesting. Just that blind guy, because like you said, if I think you hear people that pass away and that, I think that would be a nice wee touch just to get connected to them again.
Yeah.
At
It
the
also
same time,
who comes back to you in that sense.
yeah, and like you're an older gentleman or a middle aged, and you get connected to your parents again or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or even like grand or grandpas you've not seen for like years at that point or decades.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice wee touch. Did you find any more stories, or was that just it?
Even well, that one was a fascinating one, like specifically. But I also looked up stuff about how they're actually using these drugs to fight off dementia.
Yeah, well, that's more magic mushrooms than LSD, is it not?
Even THC as well in weed has been known to help kind of like because it activates certain parts of the brain. Obviously, scientists are thinking, oh, maybe it can activate forgotten memories or like stuff that's buried in the subconscious in a sense.
Yeah, because I've seen that about magic mushrooms, about how it can activate certain parts of the brains, and if or certain part of the brain, and if done in like sort of a therapy sort of situation, it can be used to address trauma and PTSD and the like, and help a patient overcome it in a sense.
It'd be good for veterans as well who've really suffered post-traumatic stress, like in the most like visceral terms.
Yeah.
Because I know lots of veterans who take drugs just to get the edge off them.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It'd be good if they can turn that around into a positive where they can actually confront their own trauma instead of just using it as a coping mechanism.
Can use it to address it rather than sweep it under the rug.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of experiments to do with like ecstasy. Apparently, that kind of helps PTSD as well.
Does it? I've not actually heard that.
Yeah,
I've not heard that either.
I've heard like I'll try and get it up on my laptop, but no,
I feel like this is something you heard up the arches.
No, I've never been to the arches. But apparently, like they're experimenting with veterans and that, and apparently, I don't know how, but it helps PTSD. The MDMA cures suffer post-traumatic stress disorder. Like, these are different things. What was I saying? The MDMA is from the Independent post in a few weeks during study. So during a study, after a few weeks, the MDMA apparently cures PTSD, which I think is pretty wild.
That's really good.
Because people like what you don't think about is as well drugs. People say, "Oh, just get you high and that," and that's like an idea or whatever. But people don't think about what it actually does to your brain as well. And although ecstasy obviously it can be a dangerous drug in that, if like you get pure MDMA in that, obviously it can be good for your brain in some sort of way. Doses ranging from 30 milligrams to 125 alongside psychotherapy.
Right.
So that's quite interesting. But I think it's good that we're now, rather than just saying, "No, drugs are bad," and this and that, we're actually looking into them and seeing that they do help, like PTSD, or do help whatever ailment, like dementia or whatever.
Yeah.
Rather than just that kind of old conservative whatever mindset that all drugs are bad. Like it's good to be more open with them.
Just found this interesting story. It's an interview. It's on the Guardian website of this woman called Amanda Fielding, who's like campaigned to get like LSD more into like helping people with Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And she talks about how like LSD can get deep down and reset the brain, like shaking up a snow globe, which is a pretty good metaphor when you think about it. It kind of like it's like it rejigs your whole like just input of the world.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking as well when you first brought that up. Because like you mentioned that your brain's just sitting there stagnating, but if you're taking LSD or acid or whatever, LSD is if you're taking acid or DMT or whatever, it keeps your brain more active and it activates your brain more. So rather than just leaving it get stagnated and get dementia, or whatever, if it's more active all the time, I suppose that can fight dementia or stop it.
Yeah.
But
it's a really recent article as well. It came out in February this year.
February this year, so that's quite good. Because
Yeah.
I think if we I think we need to use any tool possible to help fight this awful disease. And if LSD does help, well, let's just have a look at that then.
Yeah, even depression as well. We didn't even talk about that. That can be really helpful in that regard.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, if you're
I mean, I speak from experience. Not that it had a positive effect on me, but I think if I did that like if I sat down with a counsellor or a therapist whilst I was in that state of mind, they could see sort of how my brain is functioning, how it's processing information, and how I'm misinterpreting in it to allow myself to get into that negative state of mind. Whereas when I just did it rogue, it only made the problem worse.
yeah, I think if using the right way, like the right mindset, and that, I think it definitely can help. But is there anything else you want to bring up?
I'm trying to think of like if there's any more questions for you guys. I feel like I brought up all my research, like all the stories I found, but I'm trying to think more of like try to get more of an insight of what you guys think of it all, because you guys obviously have tried, and I've not even touched it.
Yeah, like I said, from my personal experience, it's just more about the visual aspect rather than like oh, this is changing my life or whatever. It's just more about the visual aspect. Like say things like the corner of your eye. One thing I've seen online that put it perfectly. Like say for example, I said to you, picture a pink elephant, right? You picture a pink elephant. Now I say picture a pink elephant with wrinkles. You need to think about that picture again. But on like acid, all those details are already there. If that makes sense.
All right. It's almost as if like your brain knows what it's gonna think before you think.
Pretty much, yeah. And it's
weird paradox like that.
Yeah, and it's like you just you shift in more detail and just think. It's almost like everything's shimmering. That's the way I describe it. It's just like nothing's still. The world's just constantly shimmering and moving. Like you look at something just lying on a bed or like a teddy on a bed or whatever. You look at it and it's sitting there still, right? But it just looks like it's kind of the edge of it or whatever is just kind of shimmering.
It's almost like you've got a current flowing through you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to describe it. Yeah.
Like an electrical current.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got like a buzz to you, like you've got like a newfound energy.
Did you guys like audio experiences? Like we were talking about blind people and that. Did you notice anything weird about like the sound when you were?
I don't remember much of sound. No, it was just more visual for me.
More visual. See, that's interesting as well. Because obviously you both can see and hear.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think maybe not hallucinations with audio, but more songs that were played that I'd heard previously were much more effective in that instance, I would say.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like when I did listen to music, I would hear stuff within the songs that I might not necessarily heard before, like different instruments or whatever.
Yeah, stuff you would almost like zone out.
Yeah, like a bass, for example, or like an instrument or whatever. You hear the whole song rather than just like the main parts, like the singing or guitar or whatever.
I think that's another thing. Chris played a lot of music for us that was written by someone that dabbled with that sort of thing. It's funny how when I listen to that normally, I just think it's a load of garbage, but when I listen to it in that state of mind, it takes on like a whole new meaning. All these little noises, and it is just noises basically for the most part, but it's it's funny what sort of effect it has on you.
Yeah, I remember going back to kind of visual aspect. I remember one time we were sitting in the kitchen, and I was on Instagram, and someone put this picture up with a flash on their phone, and I looked at my phone, and I almost had to put my hand to eyes because it was so bright. usually you just see a flash on the phone and a picture just a flash, but I felt like this was coming out my phone, and because your eyes are bigger as well, more light can get in. So I was like, oh, that's too bright. But I eventually got used to it. But that was a weird one because I was just scrolling through it. It was almost like the light was literally coming out the picture on the phone towards me. And it was an interesting one actually involving light where I was lying in bed and the curtain was just open slightly, but it was open enough that a lamp from a street lamp was coming in through the window, and it felt like I'm really bad listening to say, but it felt like that was a sniper like aiming at me. And I was just I realised that's just experience it there, but it felt like the like towards me, and it was very strange. And one another thing actually happened as well. We were watching Rogue One, and obviously I had all the spaceships and all that. And when I went up to bed, I closed my eyes and I could see all these spaceships from Star Wars like fighting. Even though my eyes were closed, I could still see them.
Sounds like he's just carrying on, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, so I was like, I can't watch this just now because I couldn't. It's not like I was not scared of Star Wars, but it was just so much information to take in. I was like, no, I just need to go lie down for a bit. And I closed my eyes, I could still see it.
I was in the exact same boat. Like, I'd never seen Rogue One before that. I sat down watching it. I couldn't remember a thing of what I'd seen. You just can't focus on something or like a plot that is that in depth. You need something much more basic for your mind to be able to follow it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think just because, not even the story aspect, just because there was so much going on screen, I couldn't keep up with it all as well. Even if it was like a simple story, if there's too much going on screen, I just can't follow it.
You know, there's one question I can only think to ask you guys is: have you had any like weird dreams either during the psychedelic trip or after? Like, did you notice any more vivid experience in that?
Not in dreams.
Not for me, no.
No?
Because I don't really have dreams normally. Like, I can't remember the last time I had a dream. It's to do with the way that I have REM sleep. I never remember my dreams. But some of the most profound experiences for me, I'll tell you one of them. I was making pizza, and for some reason they didn't have a pizza cutter in the person's house that I was in, so I had to use a knife to cut the pizza, and with the tomato sauce on the pizza, I felt like I was killing the pizza. In my mind, I'd personified the pizza and felt like I was murdering it with the knife.
That sounds like a pizza advert. Like, you've got ham on the pizza and you're cutting the pizza and the pig's dying again.
Well, it was tomatoes.
I actually had a similar experience. Not that I feel like I was killing anything, but I was making a pot noodle and I was looking down at the noodles and the water was boiling in it, obviously, but I felt like the noodles were worms, like wriggling about in the pot noodle.
Like wee worms?
Yeah, it was just worms like going about, and I was like, oh Jesus. Then I opened it. It was the Bombay Bad Boy, and I opened up the sauce, and I thought the sauce was blood.
I think if we mention pot noodle a few more times here, we're in for a sponsor.
And today's sponsor.
I wish we could get sponsors, especially pot noodle. I eat too many of those motherfuckers.
Matt, I was waiting for your dream to say, like, when you put the fork in the pot noodle, you thought you were killing the pot noodle, like it's
No, I just like
stabbing it with the fork.
I didn't think I was killing it. I just felt like the pot noodle, the noodles were like worms writhing about.
Oh, that kind of puts me off pot noodles now. I'm not gonna let unsee that when I'm eating them next time.
I'll still
you do know, I don't know why you asked Matt if he'd had a dream or not, because like it would have just been pure smut if he had remembered any of it. Like, I've heard some of his dreams and it's pure filth.
I just have weird dreams anyway. Like, the thing is, you say you don't ever remember your dreams. I remember my dreams all the time, and they're always dead weird or like just whatever. It's strange. Like, I just think because I don't know why I dream a lot.
It feels funny because I feel like I'm in the middle between you two. Sometimes I remember my dreams very well, and then there's other times I forget them almost instantly. It really depends. I don't even know what it depends on, but it must be when I sleep or whatever I like taking that. I don't even know.
Yeah.
We should
It's,
talk.
it's all to do with your sleep. I need to look this up because I used to know this somewhat well because I wondered why I had no dreams and I made a dream journal and stuff like that to try and get, what's it called now? Oh, that's terrible. I can't even remember what it's called. Basically, where you're in control of your dreams.
Lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming, yeah. For a period of time, I did actually manage to get it working, but I was like, what's the point in this? Like, there's no real, like, there's nothing to be gained out of this.
Yeah. I mean, I do have a story about that, but I'll leave that for another episode.
Yeah, that's another conversation on its own.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how we've talked about DMT or not, and we've not mentioned Joe Rogan once. That's quite.
No. Matt brought him up.
Oh, did he? Oh, shit.
Yeah, right at the beginning.
I thought we were going to set a world record about talking about DMT the longest without mentioning Joe Rogan.
Mr. DMT.
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever done DMT?
That's crazy, man.
That's crazy. Anyway, have you ever done DMT?
Have any of you ever actually hear him talk about DMT?
No, I've not watched a lot of Joe Rogan, I must admit. I watched the one with Edward Snowden.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I've listened to that one, but I have seen him talk about it before.
Well, we were talking about dreams. He'd done a podcast episode about a scientist who's done the science of sleeping. That's a really fascinating one. If we're going to do like a dream one,
we should give that a watch. Are we going to get the mystery guest involved for that episode?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mystery guest involved. That he's the one that brought that subject up actually. So we'll get him on.
Yeah, another time.
Yeah, well, asked him to be on. We're meant recording during the week, and asked him if he wanted to be on, but he was busy. So we'll make sure we plan ahead this time.
How dare he have a life?
I know, how dare.
Yeah, but now that we're doing it this way, I feel like we could get him on easy because it's not like he's got to take like a good few hours out of his day to come up to your place and sit down and record.
Sure.
I know. Plus, like I said, the recording quality is just as good, probably.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I'm not convinced by yours. For me, the mic is fluctuating. There's times where you get like really quiet.
See, I think that's just been your end. Because when I listen back to it, after I've finished recording, it sounds fine.
I hear it as well, Matt. I'll be honest.
Right, well, checking the recording. But
it's much. I don't know if it's just the device you're using. Probably if you try to get like it on a laptop or something, it'll be fine.
That's what I was saying. I tried my laptop and that was even worse.
Oh wow. Well,
just going to quiet in that, but I think we'll end it there unless you want to add anything.
No.
I asked everything really that I wanted to ask you guys and brought up my relevant research and nothing.
Well, thanks, guys. It wasn't really. Oh, what were we going to say?
I was just saying, it was an interesting talk hearing it from you, like from two guys who've actually done it, and what it's changed and what it's not changed as well. Yeah,
no, it was interesting. I was kind of off the cuff subject that I wanted to talk about. It's not really a mystery or conspiracy. It was just an interesting topic I wanted to talk about.
Still mysterious in a sense because we don't know the full ramifications of stuff like this.
Yeah, we don't know why. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, and obviously, especially with DMT, with these beings and that, and talking to things and that, it's certainly a mystery in itself.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys for digging down the rabbit hole. Next time we'll dig a little deeper. Bye.
Bye.